Hey everyone, good to see you all. It's me, Dr. Whimsy for Broke Aristocrats, and today we're talking about things that we can do to keep us motivated when it comes to living dramatically below our means and trying to pay down debt and trying to live the good life. And if you're watching this channel, then you're somebody that's very concerned about debt reduction. Maybe you're trying to come up with tips about how to be frugal, not keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And hopefully we can say and do some stuff that's going to inspire you to stay on the good path. But one of the things that I thought about recently as I began to review some of the goals that I had made for 2017, we're going to go over that a little bit now. 2018, excuse me. We're going to see how well I did for 2018 with my goals and talk a little bit about things that you can do to stay on the straight and narrow when it comes to living dramatically below your means. And one of the things that I got to thinking about recently was different techniques that people do to keep them inspired. I like the idea of dream boards, though to be quite honest with you, I don't really have the time or the artistic interest to do a dream board. Basically, with a dream board, you cut out pictures from magazines and you put on the board anything that you want out of life that inspires you, you put it up on the board. So that's one technique that people have used in order to not spend money. I'm going to give you an example, though, of what I've done. What I did was I just put it in my journal and I wanted to do a review. So one of the things that I put on my journal when I first started my debt reduction journey was number one, I wanted to pay down debt. Now, the problem with that is that I quickly found out that that isn't enough to keep a person motivated. If all you're aspiring to is to get out of debt, you will probably have a rough time staying on your budget, because what happens if all of your focus is on the debt, all of your focus is on debt reduction, if you're like me, you may start to experience chronic depression. You start to feel like, wow, I screwed my life up because I've got this debt. And then negative self-talk starts to happen. The only problem with that is that once you start to have negative self-talk, you then want to alleviate your suffering. So how do people alleviate their suffering when they feel shame and blame? Well, if you have an addictive personality, you might turn towards drugs and alcohol. If you have a shopping challenge, you might want to go out and shop. You're going to go out and you're going to seek ways to feel better because you have just shamed yourself and you have just blamed yourself. So that is one of the risk factors if the only thing that's on your list of the reasons that you are living frugally is to get out of debt. If that is the only thing that's motivating you, you may find yourself having a challenge, particularly once you achieve your debt-free status. So instead, I think it's a good idea for people to reward themselves and to think about a life that's beyond just getting out of debt. For me, for example, it was debt reduction and then taking myself on a trip to Europe with my sister. I really wish that I had done more videos about frugal travel, because even though the trip was frugal, we also put adequate money aside so that we could go out and have really great dinners and really not feel like here you've gone all the way to Europe and you're living on, you know, dry bread or whatever. So one of the things that I put in my list for to stay motivated as I got out of debt was to take myself to Europe. Now, sometimes you may also want to give yourself little tiny rewards as you achieve different things. For example, if you pay down one particular debt, you may want to squirrel away a little bit of money to buy yourself something nice or to take yourself to a nice dinner. I know Dave Ramsey says rice and beans, rice and beans. I have not found that that works for me. Find whatever system works for you, but personally I got depressed and I was not consistent. So I think a more practical, realistic thing to do is to create little tiny rewards and little tiny things that you're working towards that are going to keep you on the path longer, rather than complete deprivation, which I find rarely works. It may be taking yourself out to dinner 1 month, going on a 3-day vacation, hiking in the woods with your family. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but I do believe that every time we achieve a goal, particularly when it comes to something like debt reduction, there has to be some kind of a little tiny reward that we give ourselves. One of the things that I think is really going to help me in the coming years is that I have put here is my goal to buy property. I think that when you really see I can do this, I can get out of debt, I can build a beautiful life for myself, once you start to see that that's a possibility and you start to have hope for yourself, you can then begin to dream. And I think it's really tragic when people have lost the ability to dream. We must have something to look forward to. We must have things that we can dream about and aspire to. And so for me, I'm going to probably be buying property in the next couple of years, which is something that I didn't think that I was going to be able to do. And because I now understand the science of there's a science to living dramatically below your means, putting a particular amount of money aside and planning for things like that. There's a way to do it. You just have to be patient, consistent, and do it. Be consistent. Live below your means. Give yourself little rewards to keep you motivated, and have something to be working towards that's more than just debt reduction. So for me, it was buying property. I had a goal of starting a nonprofit. I have to raise over $5,000 in order to turn Broke Aristocrats into a nonprofit. That'll probably be happening, I imagine, in late spring of 2019 if things go according to plan. One of my goals was to have a really good retirement plan so that when you can look back at your life when you're 65, 70 years old and you're trying to wind things down a little bit. I'll probably never quit working entirely, but you want to wind down a little bit, enjoy some travel. You want to make sure that you've got adequate retirement. And that I had some savings goals, various different parts of the world I'd like to travel to. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about today is let's have a conversation about things we do to stay motivated, and it has to be something that really drives you, something you're really passionate about. If it's something like buying property, start with something that's realistic. I mean, hey, you buy a small house or a little cottage, you fix it up, you sell it, and then maybe next house can be slightly bigger. So if you want it to be something realistic, I think that that's absolutely okay. But I also encourage people to really get into it. Go ahead and create a dream board. Take a look at various different homes in the area if you plan on staying where you're at, and really begin to do the work of manifesting the things you want out of life as you go on this journey of debt reduction and frugal living. All right, so that's my motivation tip for the day. I did take quite a few weeks off. I had some stuff to do here, and then I just got back from Seattle. I was on vacation, so I had a great time with friends over the holiday. And hopefully I'll be back now trying to put out a couple videos a week, knock on wood, if time permits. All right, I want to thank you for watching this quick video of Broke Aristocrats. Be sure and share, like, subscribe. Tell me what you're doing to take care of yourself without breaking the bank, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. I love my kitty. You know I do. I love my kitty. And that kitty is you. Wherever I roam, whatever I do, I love my kitty. And that kitty is you.